Well, hello, and thank you for joining me for another Alex on Tech and TechAdvice.life video interview. I'm joined today by Matt Unangst. He's the Senior Director at AMD for Commercial, Client, and Workstation. Welcome to the program.
Hey, thank you, Alex. It's great to be here.
Thank you for taking the time. Now, Matt, before we go on, AMD has been on quite a magnificent journey over the past few years. So, can you please recap the Ryzen revolution and its epic consequences for consumers and businesses of all sizes?
I like what you did there with the Ryzen and the Epic. Yeah, it has been a very, very fun ride. I've been with AMD myself since 2007, so I saw some of the challenging years, and then it's been a very rewarding, challenging but very rewarding experience to kind of be a part of the effort back up. I think one of the things that really kind of set this in motion, it started with our CEO Lisa Su. From the moment she took over, she was very, very focused on reinstilling a culture of high performance computing, which was a culture that had been at AMD, many years back, and we lost sight of that a little bit. But really, I think one of the things that you see at the forefront of everything that she has done is focus on building great products, focus on building high performance products, and that has, that's not an overnight transformation, but we have been laser focused on that over the last decade or so. And I think it's pretty clear in the products that we have today, and we've progressively continued to build out a stronger portfolio around that. So it's been a ride for sure. Certainly one that has had its challenges, but I'll tell you what, it's been just an incredible journey. And I guess the thing that's most exciting now is as much as we have made some great progress as a company, we just cannot wait for what's next. We're on the forefront of this incredible AI revolution, and whether you look at our client products, the edge solutions we have, or the data center products, that high performance focus that we have is going to continue to be an area that's going to fuel our growth moving forward.
Yeah, it's very heartening to think or to know that the best is still yet to come, and AMD is a living example of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, we're talking about the business side of AMD's Ryzen Pro. So can you please remind us of AMD's strengths in the business computing market? Basically why AMD and what are today's customers looking for?
Yeah, absolutely. So as we think about Ryzen Pro, that's really our mobile and our desktop set of products focused on the enterprise and large commercial client. And one of the key things that our customers are always looking for in that space is the ability to make their employees more productive while keeping their business information and confidential information secure. And so when we look at what are the things it takes to make an employee productive, it's delivering great performance on real world applications. It's delivering fantastic battery life so that people can be productive and get their job done no matter where they are. And it's delivering the right set of security features, both with what we design into the product, but also the partnerships that we build out in the ecosystem with the likes of Microsoft or HP and Lenovo, really building a multi-layered approach to security. So we start by looking at what our customers need, the challenges that they're facing, and then we really have been focused on designing our Ryzen Pro products directly to address their challenges in those areas.
Now, we also hear a lot about sustainability these days. So what is AMD doing in this space that is translating into truly meaningful results for AMD's customers and for the planet?
Yeah, that is a great question. I'll say that is one of the themes we see across pretty much all the geographies right now is an increased focus on sustainability. And when we look at sustainability from an industry perspective, we all kind of have our part to play in that role. One of the biggest areas that AMD can and does contribute to that area is our power efficiency of our products. That same power efficiency that allows our products to have the same or have industry-leading battery life also allows our products to consume less power. And that's really a design theme that you see across our entire portfolio. So whether you look at our data center products and how much more efficient than they are than the competition, all the way into the laptops and the better battery life and less power consumption that they draw, that starts to add up, right? And especially as you start to think about large fleets of PCs over tens of thousands of users, that really, if you can save 10, 15, 20% power in every successive generation of product that you release to market, it starts to make a dent. So obviously it's not the whole solution. And we're going to continue to strive to deliver better. But that's one of the key areas that we can contribute. And then we work really closely with our partners to make sure that we're engaging them where we're able to continue to build out a broader set of sustainability capabilities with their products and their platforms.
Yeah, I certainly remember about this time last year, you had the fourth gen Epic and the incredible power savings and the performance increases. I mean, it was like a several generations leap just in one generation. And of course, since then, you have improved on that further. So it's really quite remarkable that if you put your mind to it, the sort of energy efficiencies you can deliver. And again, I'm sure you guys are set to unveil even more amazingness in this regard in the future.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a focus area for us, and I'll say, I think you've seen and heard some of our top executives, including Lisa and our CTO Mark Papermaster, just talk about how important efficiency is. Not only is it the right thing to do from a sustainability perspective, but it's actually going to be essential to deliver the kind of compute horsepower that our customers need. Again, whether it's in the data center or on the client, everybody wants more performance, but there's a finite amount of energy, there's a finite amount of cooling capability in the data center, there's a finite amount of power that you want a laptop to consume and still get a good experience on it, right? So a big part of our challenge is making sure that we're continuing to move the ball forward on the sustainability, on the energy efficiency front, because A, it's the right thing to do, but B, it actually helps us deliver better products to our customers.
Yeah. Now, one of the big things in the client computing and workstation space is, of course, the processor. And AMD's flagship processor, it ranges the 7040 series, with the 7840U being top of the line. So what are the options in the 7000 series range at the various price points? And what makes the 78040U special and superior to the competition in the x86 space?
Great question.
And also the ARM space too, because I know that you've been winning against some of the ARM series processors as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, our 7040 lineup of processors is our latest generation mobile processors, and we have those in gaming laptops, consumer laptops, and then of course in our commercial laptops, including mobile workstations. The thing that really sets the 7040 series apart is it incorporates our latest generation Zen core, our latest generation RDNA 3 graphics, and it's the first x86 processor in the market to feature a dedicated AI inference accelerator on the actual die. It's built in and integrated into the chip. And so that combination of technologies really allows us to take a strong leadership position. You talk about that 7820, I'm sorry, the 7840, I should say, I'm sorry. That Ryzen 7 Pro 7840 is just a fantastic product when you look at real world performance. And that's one of the things that we've been very focused on over the last couple of years is how do we not just design to do well on a benchmark, but actually design to do well in those use cases that our customers care about. For example, one of the most common use cases that pretty much any business user is familiar with is running Microsoft Office at the same time that they're on a video conference. And so we actually looked at the resources that user experience requires and have tuned our Ryzen 7040 lineup of products to be better in that space. And as a result, versus our competition, we deliver much better performance at significantly lower power. And that's a true story whether you're looking at our x86 competition or competitions such as Apple. So we delivered better battery life in video conferencing, we delivered better performance, and those two things all happening at the same time. It's really a really strong story. And then, you talked about that 7840 and really across the broader family of the 7040 lineup, we have that what we call Ryzen AI. That's that integrated inference accelerator across not all, but the majority of the SKUs that we have available in that product family. And that's the first generation, what we call XDNA architecture that brings that inference capability into the mobile processor. We have some great capabilities today really around collaboration. One of the things that's out there is called Windows Studio Effects. And basically, it's an enhanced set of capabilities that utilize that AI accelerator. But I think the most exciting thing about that is that that's just a very small first step around what we're going to do with AI. And maybe we can talk about that a little bit, over the next half hour or so. But where we're going from an AI perspective, that 7040 lineup of products is really a really exciting first step to start to bring some of those capabilities to the mobile devices.
And just quickly, you still have 5000 and 6000 series processors on the market to be able to hit price points, and also because the competition is also shipping these more value driven products. But AMD still offers benefits over the competition in that regard.
Well, yeah, we have, for the last few years, we've delivered very strong capabilities with our products. And we always work with our customers, both partners like HP and Lenovo, but also even end customers who are using those products. And so we're always working with them to make sure that we continue to support them with the products that we've launched previously. So we continue to support them. They're very, very strong products. And then the key for us is continue to bring out the latest and greatest technology each year. Again, that 70-40 lineup really being the example of that this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's always people who want the value end, and there's always people who want, the latest and the most powerful because they want that to last them for a few years. But that 7840U AI component, I mean, it is remarkable. That's like the neural engine that we've seen in smartphone and tablet chips, effectively, right?
Yeah, it's very similar. So that IP is actually some IP that we acquired as part of the Xilinx acquisition. And this is actually a great example of a space where AMD, during that Xilinx acquisition and immediately thereafter, really kind of a heroic effort by our engineering teams to integrate that technology into our 7040 lineup of products, allowing us to be first to market in the x86 space with that type of technology. And to your point around, do these technologies exist on phones and some of those areas? Absolutely. And so we've looked at, how do they take advantage of those? One of the things that we saw in the phone space in particular was that the early use cases are built on video and collaboration types of experiences. And I think that's where we've seen the first user experiences focused on the PC side of things. But similar to what I mentioned just a minute ago, that's really just a start. And we're kind of, at that first step in what is going to be a blossoming area of innovation around how to use AI on the laptop or on the desktop.
Now, your main competitor in the x86 space is promising to bring AI to all of its processors. So I'm assuming that, as next year's generations and the future generations come by, AI will just be a standard component of pretty much every processor out there. So how big of a head start does AMD have here? And, on that same note, I mean, how closely have you worked with Microsoft so that your AI can make full use of Windows 11's new Copilot features, which, as we're recording, are going to be launched in less than 24 hours?
Yeah, so first off, as we think about the scalability of this technology, we believe that AI is going to be really kind of the third leg of the stool in terms of the technology that needs to be in pretty much all of the processors moving forward. So we look at it, we have leadership capabilities in CPU design with our Zen cores. We have leadership capabilities on graphics IP with our RDNA solutions. And now we have a leadership set of technologies with our XDNA or our Ryzen AI solutions that we've integrated into these products. That set of three technologies we think is going to be core to powering the best PCs on the notebook and desktop side for the foreseeable generations of products. And when to your point around partnership with Microsoft, obviously that is fundamental to being success here. We have a very strong partnership with Microsoft. We've been working with them with a very, very deep and broad engagement around how we bring some of these AI experiences to market. To do this right, you have to have great hardware and you have to have great software. And I think the great thing right now is both companies recognize that. We have a very strong working collaboration there, and it's going to be an exciting next year and maybe a little bit more in terms of some of the new announcements, but also products and capabilities that together we're able to bring to the market.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we're going to be surprised by what people are going to be able to do with the new hardware and software. I mean, it's always the case, something new is developed and we can't yet imagine just what is going to come out because it's going to blow us away.
The thing that's so amazing about this whole AI kind of revolution right now is if we just all take a step back and we think about where we were 8 months ago, we like none of this stuff, you talked about AI, but ChatGPT was just coming out, and that was the experience that all of us, it was just like, it was so eye-opening, right? It just kind of changed everybody's perspective on what the potential of this technology could be. And then you look at what's happened over the last 8 months, and it's just amazing how fast the innovation has taken place. And so to your point around being excited and potentially being surprised, I think we're all still trying to figure out all the use cases that are going to be out there. I mean, every day it feels like we get a better understanding of some use case that is going to be beneficial or tangible or usable for somebody. And it just, it's kind of in this industry or that use case or whatever. And so very fast-paced stuff, but I'll tell you what, it's exciting right now just to feel like, it's just so dynamic and to kind of see where the industry is going to go. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, there's a website called There's an AI for that. And when I first started looking at it a few months ago, it was like 5,500 AIs for, almost 2,000 different AI tasks. And I haven't checked it in the last couple of days, but it was sort of more than, it was like 7 or 8,000 different AI systems. It's like in the old days when we had search engines before Google, Alta Vista, Lycos, Hotbot, Dogpile, LookSmart. I mean, there were so many of them. And now the same thing's happening with AI, but it's just like on steroids. So, yeah, exciting
Yeah,
times. Exciting stuff. So, what are
absolutely.
some of the other stats, benefits, and features that PCs, notebooks, and ultra thin laptops running AMD's business class processors that you can share with us? And can you please tell us about some of the other new devices that are on offer to business customers from, HP, Lenovo, and others?
Yeah, absolutely. So, in our commercial side of the business, certainly two of our largest and deepest partnerships are with HP and Lenovo. We have a very broad portfolio of both notebooks and desktops with our Ryzen, both our Ryzen Pro and our Ryzen products, targeted at the enterprise, public sector, as well as SMB. We also have a broad set of products in the workstation side. At the top, powered by our Threadripper Pro lineup of products, which is really kind of unmatched in the industry in terms of performance, but also some platforms with Ryzen. So very broad portfolio. Again, when we think about what is the right solution and what's the right set of technologies to deploy in those spaces, you really have to look at what each of those platforms are targeted at. When you think about a workstation solution, as an example, it's about raw performance, right? So our Threadripper Pro products are designed and engineered to deliver the absolute best performance, the best scalability, the best expandability in the industry. And that's exactly what we've done in that space. As you think about the notebook side of things, it's about delivering productivity to the employees and doing so in a secure manner, right? And so I think I mentioned this a few minutes ago, but the areas we focus on are real world use cases, making sure that, Microsoft Office, heavy multitasking, getting great battery life. Those are the user experiences that are critically important. And that's really the space where our products shine. And so if you look at a broad number of benchmarks, you'll find that our Ryzen processors, whether it's our 7040 or even previous generation products, perform very well on multi-threaded, multitasking types of applications. That's important because if you think about the typical business user today, they're not doing one thing on their laptop. They probably have PowerPoint slides open and Excel documents and maybe a Word document, and they're running Outlook, and they have a Zoom or a Teams meeting that's running. And they also have a browser with a dozen tabs open to a bunch of things that they're using and utilizing on a very frequent basis, right? It's a very multitasking heavy type of workload that's very common. And that's where our products really shine. So, again, you look across a broad set of benchmarks. It could be PC Mark, it could be Passmark, it could be, Geekbench. We're going to do very, very well in those. On the battery life side of things, our products typically have a very strong battery life leadership position, to the extent of multiple hours better than our competition. But we're not satisfied. We continue to focus on how we can grow that and how we can do better, again, in those real world use cases, kind of moving away from the traditional benchmarks, but focusing on the type of stuff that, business users use day in and day out.
So, with all of that and all that incredible progress, and we spoke about the best is yet to come. I mean, how do you see the industry, processor design, AI, all of that evolving over the next couple of years?
Well, that's a big question, and I certainly think the AI side of things is probably going to get the most attention. And one of the things that we're seeing in the studies and the surveys that both we're conducting and also others is we see enterprise customers, IT departments, really looking at trying to be kind of at the very front of the line in terms of AI adoption. They see a lot of potential to improve the productivity of employees, address many of the challenges that they're facing by adopting PCs that have AI, on them. And so I think that's going to be one of the big drivers of behavior and purchasing preference over the next couple of years. From a technology perspective, I think there's a couple challenges that we're very focused on right now. The first is we can have great AI technology, but we have to build out the software ecosystem. We have to build out the developer ecosystem, and we have to get use cases built, designed, and optimized to run on a Ryzen AI solutions. And so that's been a big area of focus for us. We're really excited about the development kit that we're bringing to market before the end of this year. We've also already been prototyping with a number of ISVs. but it's going to go public in a way that allows a lot of our customers and developers to really start to build their code and optimize their code for Ryzen solutions. The other key thing that we need to do, and this is broader than just AMD, it's an industry, is we need to help our customers really solidify in their minds where and how to deploy this AI technology with tangible use cases. We see a lot of hype around AI. I think there's absolutely a lot of promise. Hopefully you can tell that in the excitement that I have around it. But we also see there's a lot of IT departments, there's a lot of IT leaders who see the potential, but they're trying to figure out how are we going to deploy this? How are we going to get the biggest bang for the buck? And so working with them, as well as our OEM partners, I think is going to be a really critical piece of what we have to do over the next couple of years to make sure that they are really getting the most benefit out of this incredible technology.
Yeah, I mean, a crude analogy that I'm thinking of as you're speaking, and it's definitely, the shift to AI is vastly more impactful and important than what I'm just about to say. But it's like the shift from single core computing to multi-core, multi-threaded computing. That's taken a while, and a lot of things are still single core. But this is sort of 1,000x or 1,000,000x in importance.
No, I agree with you, and I think back to the software point, it's right. Software has to be written to be able to take advantage of the hardware that's there. The OS has to be able to do that, and obviously, from our perspective, we need to put the infrastructure in place to help do that in as seamless a manner as possible. And so, the partnership with Microsoft is critical on that front. Having the right developer tools out there that allow a developer to incorporate our AI libraries and then allow us through that the development kit to help determine which code should run on the CPU versus the GPU versus our inference accelerator with Ryzen AI. That's all work that's being done. But to your point, those things don't always happen overnight. So it's going to be a lot of work over the next couple of years to make sure that these technologies are really delivering to their potential.
Now, as we get towards the end of the interview, I always like to ask a couple of questions about you. And my first one is, can you please share a memory of your first computer?
My first computer, that is a good question. So I remember sitting in my basement of my house with my dad playing green screen. And we were playing this like little game where there was like a little plane that could fly, and you had to drop the bomb at the right time so that it would land on like the target, right? I don't know. I was probably 3 or 4 years old. I just have like the littlest memories of that. But certainly was fun, and of course you start to grow up with it, and you get a little bit more exposed to it. And then you finally start to get into school in early parts of the career, and you have an opportunity to start to design these things. I'll tell you what, there's been a lot of great memories along the way. I think one of the things that's really cool is when you think about the complexity of these products, it's amazing that we are able to deliver these products the way we do. There are billions of transistors on these chips, and you have to be pretty much flawless to enable these types of experiences and capabilities. So it's pretty fun to have been able to have some of those great memories, but to be able to be a contributor in this space and work on this technology, it's really pretty special.
Yeah, for all the crazy things happening in the world, I mean, the amount of work that has to be done and people that have to work together to make the ecosystems and the technologies, and I mean all the mining, everything that has to happen. Humanity's pretty amazing. It's pretty.
It
amazing.
is. Yep. It's actually it's a fantastic point. This industry is really a great example of that. It's not one that would work within any single set of borders or with any single set of skill set or experts, right? It's an incredible set of technologies and capabilities you got to bring together.
Now, my second last question is to ask if you could please share some of the best advice you've received in life to help you get where you are today.
That's a great question. Some of the best advice I ever received, and I take this to heart just about every day, is to focus on getting the job in front of you done. And it sounds simple, right? But I think all of us, myself included, from time to time, like to think about what if and what's ahead of us, and really kind of think about the potential of different roles or experiences or whatever. And it's fine to do all that, but the piece of advice I got one time was to just, in spite of all of that, don't lose sight of executing what's in front of you right here, right now. From a career standpoint, and just from having an impact on what you do perspective, it's one of the things that I think is very, very true, because if you're somebody that can get things done, if you're somebody that builds a reputation for making progress, that's going to be a skill set that people are always going to want, right? And so if you're able to focus on what's in front of you despite all the noise that may exist, and execute on what's in front of you, whether it's the most exciting thing in the world or not, ultimately it's going to set the stage for you to have more opportunities, maybe on things that are bigger and more exciting in front of you. So it's okay to dream, and we all need to, but you also need to make sure that you stay focused. So that was one of the best pieces of advice I've always gotten. And like anybody, sometimes you have to remind yourself of that, but I try to stay true to that as much as I can.
Definitely words to live by. So what is your final message to the viewers and the readers, and to your current and future customers and partners?
Well, what I would say is, this technology that we have with our Ryzen products, and with our broader commercial portfolio with AMD, it is very, very exciting technology. What we have today is very much leadership capabilities in terms of the IP and the overall solutions that we bring to market. But as I said before, what is so exciting right now is just where this is going, and the types of experiences and use cases that we're going to enable with our partners over the next couple of years. I think we're going to see some of the fastest innovation in the PC market that we've seen in decades. And it's going to be really, really exciting to see what happens in the space of AI, and to see how our customers and our partners find new ways to use this technology in a way that I think a lot of us haven't even dreamed of yet. So I'm getting ready. I'm going to buckle up and go for a fun ride here.
Well, Matthew Unangst, the Senior Director at AMD for Commercial Client and Workstation, the best truly is yet to come. I've really enjoyed speaking with you today. I wish you the best of success, and I do hope we can speak again in the future.
It was great, Alex. I really appreciate the time, and be more than happy to find some time in the future to catch up as well.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.